Mick, you mentioned yesterday during your press session that you get in these situations and it's so important to score points.
Yes.
And you scored points tonight to the tune of 86.
Well, we had 24 assists tonight, which was probably a season high for us. We got off to a great start, obviously, 14-0. I'm going to say we had 5 assists at least in our first 6 possessions. Look, first I want to congratulate Coach Morrell and UNC Asheville. To go win 27 games is hard. To make the NCAA tournament is hard. And they're kids to be commended. Tajon Jones, to become the leading scorer in the history of your school, it's a heck of an accomplishment. Drew Pember had an unbelievable year, Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year in their conference. You know, tonight's not indicative of the season they had. They ran into a buzzsaw tonight. We don't take losing well at UCLA. We spell fun, W-I-N. We lost our last game. These guys took it personal. You saw how they came out tonight. So our defensive intensity and our deflections early in the game, I think, really rattled them. They could never really get comfortable. We did a great job on their shooters. Jones only made 1 3. Fletcher Abbey only made 1 3. Drew Pember only made 1. So that was our big focus tonight. So our guys really approached the game with a professional attitude, which is something that we try to focus on. And it's not about our opponent, it's about us. So we got to make sure we maintain the same level of intensity and preparation for our next game.
Questions? Jim?
Jim Alexander from the Southern California News Group. Mick, did you really need to say anything to your players about what happened, Princeton, Arizona, or Furman, Virginia, or no, did you figure they already?
We don't. It has no bearing on us. We don't believe in false motivation, so we don't believe that you need your home crowd to win. We don't believe you need 2 starters to win. We believe that you need toughness and togetherness, playing hard and smart. There's always a way to win. So.
Here in the front.
Tracy Pearson, Bruin Report Online. Talk a little bit about, with the Dembona out, the contributions from your other 2 post players.
Well, Kenny doesn't surprise me. You know, he's been around, and he got off to a great start this year. And that injury he had against, was that Cal? Yeah. It was a weird injury against Cal to his hip, and you know, he's not bothered. You see, he's blocking shots in the Pac-12 tournament and again tonight. So he's got his bounce back and his step. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. But him and Mac are 9 for 9. But again, you know, you're playing a mid-major team. I think, you know, you look, and somebody alluded to Arizona, or say you've got to dominate those teams physically. You know, I coached at that level, and if you don't get dominated physically, you can win. You know, you can physically dominate those teams. It's hard for them. We have 32 to 8 points in the paint. These guys were 9 for 9, you know, Kenneth and Mac. So happy for them. But, you know, Jaime had his way as well inside. We end up plus 32 in the paint. And, that, you know, that's what you got to do in games like that. If you don't, there's really – if your size and athleticism isn't a factor, then – it doesn't matter if you're high major and they're mid major. You know, you've got to high major them. You know, and we did that tonight physically.
Was there something you saw from Pember that you could trap him at that high post and get a couple of?
Well, they look. You know, their point guard is a tough kid. He's not a 3-point shooter, so you know, we always try to take out the other team's best players. You know, if you let the other team's best players come out and get their average or higher, you're in trouble. You know, and we did that at USC, and we were in trouble. You know, you got to be able to take out the other team's best players.
Ben?
Kenny, you had a career high 4.5 minutes into the game. What did that feel like out there to be contributing at that level that early in the game?
What does it feel like? Amazing. I mean, just like my message every year, when your name is called, just be ready to perform. Whether how you play or how the contribution of yourself to the team, just be able to trust the coaches, staff, and just like he said, toughness and togetherness. That's how we win the game. The sports is to get to fight like 10 or like a group game that it takes all guys to win, not just one man. So I would say it felt great.
Bill?
Yeah, Mick, given that these are still college kids and there's a tendency human beings to take things lightly, these higher seed games, did you know you were going to get this out of your team?
It doesn't surprise me because we lost our last game. We don't. These guys are trained. They don't. We don't take losing lightly. They know. Like Amari's a freshman. He knows how I am. He's from Chicago. Like we play to win at UCLA. It's not okay to lose. I don't care who's hurt, who's out, who you're playing, where the game's at, what the refs are doing with the whistle. You got to find a way to win. So when we lost Saturday, I wasn't happy, but I knew it was going to help us. There's no question it was going to help us. Because I know these guys. Like, I know how upset this guy was that we didn't win that game Saturday. I mean, he was as upset as I've ever seen him. So that helps.
Sir?
Tarek Patel from the Daily News. Coach, Amari Bailey, through his year, can you talk about his ability to kind of morph into what the team needs, whether it be defense, offense, or whatever you need him to do?
Again, we're in an era of playing against 23 and 4-year-olds. He's been 18. He just turned 19 less than a month ago. There's a lot of high school kids in California older than him that are playing, that we're recruiting. So it's I think it's just a lot harder than people realize. I'd let him speak to that. To find a comfort zone. You got two comfort zones you got to find. You're trying to find a comfort zone and adjust your game to college defense and college size, where you can go to the basket all the time in high school. The help is you got to be able to do it with less dribbles. Then you got to find a comfort zone on our team. You're coming in, you're playing with two all-Pac, player of the year in the Pac-12, and Tiger Campbell and Dave, and a lot of guys that have been around. So it's been a process for he and I of trying to get him to the comfort zone. And I think it didn't help that he missed a month, with the foot. But I think that's what you're seeing here lately. He's also embraced the defensive end, which doesn't surprise me because, guys from the south side of Chicago. So he's a tough guy.
Tony?
Amari, I don't even know if you lost on this floor. I've seen you play, your high school basketball here, but just talk a little bit, about, coming here and playing again, from your Sierra Canyon days until now.
It was just a surreal feeling, and it felt like a full circle moment. I haven't been here in 4 years, playing for a state championship my freshman year in high school to then step into my first college March Madness game. I mean, I just had chills running through my body, and I just wanted to stay focused and stay present in the moment.
Question up front.
Jaime, you had 5 steals in the first half. Amari, you had 3. Could you speak a little bit about how you guys have been able to keep up the intensity on the defensive end without Jalen?
I think, we're playing a lot for Jalen this tournament. I know that entering into this game, they had a really good guy in Pember. My entire thought process going into the game is doing whatever I could to just stop him from getting going. And, I took a page out of J-Rock's book, try to get steals, try to be active with my hands, and try to do it for him.
Josh?
Coach talked about how upset you were on Saturday. How do you use that as fuel to motivate you when you have something that goes bad like Saturday did? To then, how do you sort of channel that into a positive?
I try not to dwell on it, because if we lose now, my entire season's done. So I don't think it's very hard to get me going, or any of the rest of the guys for that matter. I know this is Kenny's last year too. And then we try to get the young guys to understand this and understand that this is a one-and-out tournament, and we don't want this to end.
And to add a little bit to that, one thing about life is when you lose something, use that as a motivation because, you're not gonna win every time. You lose some, you win some. And then when the next game comes, you use that as a motivation to play, look at your mistakes and, try to correct yourself and not trying to lose again.
How about that answer, Bill? St. Patrick's Day on the East Coast. Jalen Clark, we miss you, buddy. You guys done? You got any more?
J-Rock.
See, I tried to get us out of here with that.
Even though we didn't play tonight and you didn't need him, do you expect Adem to be ready for Saturday?
I think Adem could have played tonight. He didn't get enough practice for me. We didn't really, we don't practice live a lot right now, but just even with our 5-on-0 stuff, I want to see him. There's some things I want to see him do comfortably. But I knew what was going to happen. As soon as he warmed up, he comes running in the locker room. I'm playing. Easy, big fella. That's just who he is. He's such a, got Oscar Roberts and stuff up here. Cincinnati Royals.
That's
I
right.
just noticed that.
I know you do.
You guys have no idea, Amari.
Nope.
Great. No, I'm focused. I'm from Cincinnati. I'm focused on the Cincinnati Royals. So I don't know if you know that, but I see Jack Twyman and Oscar Robertson, guys I was fortunate enough to meet and get to know. Sometimes you get a lot of pleasures in this job, a lot of perks with the job. Many times. Had cigars with him. Yeah. Lives in Cincinnati. No, they know who Oscar Robertson is. Yeah. I don't know about Kenny. Him and Adem were watching a soccer game. You were asking about that game? They were watching soccer on their phone today.
What you expect? That's the sports we play in Nigeria.
They literally, was it a big tournament or something?
Yes.
See? They were watching soccer.
That's the first sports we played before we even
All right,
played
guys,
basketball.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Y'all have a good night.